You are listening to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Fitzgerald, also known as Lauren Fitz. I'm a medical doctor, a fitness instructor, an entrepreneur, a health and fitness coach, but most importantly, I am a lover of life. And here on the Fitz and Healthy podcast, I intend to give you a ton of great information and knowledge that will serve as potential power so that you can live a life by design and make it more fits and healthy. And don't forget to listen to the disclaimer at the end. I'm not your doctor, yo. All right, enjoy the episode. Much love. Ciao. Hello and welcome to the Fitz and Healthy podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lauren Fitzgerald, and I am joined by my beautiful co-host, Cinthanie from Cinthanie.com. What's up, girl?
Hey, girl. Hey.
We're ridiculous. So for the listeners who are listening in, today is actually a really special day. And of course, when this is released, it will be a few weeks past launch day. But today is officially May 1st. And we launched our whole podcast, all first 10 episodes today.
Yes. And
it's crazy. But I've been like basically listening to episode after episode. And the hey girl, hey, that's going to be our thing. You know that, right?
What happened? It wasn't like, okay, so this is going to be our entry.
No.
It's just Lauren and I are so dorky that just kind of happened and is stuck.
Exactly.
We both say absolutely.
I know.
Finish saying something. So our words are absolutely. Girl, hey.
Yeah, no, I definitely, when you do a lot of live video or audio and you listen to yourself, you learn a lot about yourself, right?
Right.
And I don't care how many episodes we do. I still probably will always hate the sound of my voice, but it's all good. My voice has a lot of good knowledge to give people. So I'm going to get over that sound.
I think that everybody hates the way that they sound in video or over the phone. So
I agree.
I totally agree.
But wasn't it weird that moment that you press play on the very first episode and you heard it was like, whoa, that's weird.
Wow, I heard myself and I was like, that's what I sound like.
Right. So today we are going to talk about a common topic that really everyone can relate with. It's exercise, what it can and can't do for you. And you know, you and I are both in the world of health and fitness, and we know a little bit more than the average person about exercise. But the point of this episode today is to talk about some common myths and some overlooked facts about exercise and the benefits and some of the things that aren't benefits, right? Yeah. So first things first, it's January 1st. Okay. It's not really, but I'm painting a picture. It's January 1st. And what is the first thing that a majority of people do on January 1st? Actually, it's usually January 2nd, but you know what I mean.
Because everybody's hungover on January 1st. Let's be real. Yes. And what it is they go get a gym membership and they say, this year is my year. This year, I'm really going to do it. I'm really going to lose the weight and I'm going to do exercise.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Or they already have a gym membership in which they never utilize and they're like, okay, I'm going to come. And the people are like, who are you? Oh, I've been a member here for 10 years. Yeah, it happens every single year because people make these New Year's resolutions. They want to lose weight, especially the extra weight that they've added over the holidays. And the first thing they think about is, okay, I'm going to exercise. But it's funny because in pre-show planning and prepping, Cinthanie, you and I were talking about, you know, the different things that we thought about what can and can't do. And the very first thing that you said was the very first thing that I thought of when thinking about what exercise can't do. And it is, drum roll.
It will not make you lose weight.
Thank you. Did you guys hear that? It won't help you lose weight. It won't. The whole concept of calories in versus calories out and you burn off, blah, blah, blah. It has been proven wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong science. It's bad science. And it's something that we are going to have to beat into the heads of every single listener until they get their brains around the fact that if they want to lose weight, it's not about working harder in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's
uncomfortable to listen to, you guys.
Oh, it is.
We promise to make you comfortable. We promise to educate you.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And this is something that I think that obviously the journey of health and fitness is not easy. And, you know, I say this to my customers all the time. I say it to people on my live broadcast. I'll say it to my podcast listeners. If it were easy, we would all be walking around ready to be on the cover of whatever magazine, right? And looking our best. It's obviously not easy. And there's a whole combination of reasons why it's not easy. But the fact is that exercise seems to be the first thing that people go to when they want to get back on that bandwagon of health and fitness. Mm-hmm. And why is that? Because I mean, if you look at it, exercise is harder, or to the onlooker.
The thing is, my perspective on it is that you have to eat to survive. That's something that you have to do. True. You don't have to exercise to survive. Even though, I mean, clearly you need to, but eating is something you do every single day, regardless. It's just something every person does every single day.
Right.
And the misconception is that you can outwork a bad diet, and you can't.
I tried my entire 20s and a little bit of my 30s to do that.
Yeah.
I tried really hard. I
would eat pizza every day and look like Victoria's Secret model.
Well, and see, and you're fortunate because you are in your young 20s and you have been blessed with some really great role models that have mentored you and taught you. I so wish that I would have had it just one that would have been like, hey, Lauren. And here's the deal. I like to exercise, but I always thought that I could just kill it in the gym. And then, you know, the diet thing, like I always thought I was eating healthy. And of course, that's a whole nother episode. But the fact is that for the longest time, I have been killing it in the gym. On average, I would say that I probably on average spent an hour to an hour and a half, 6 days a week in the gym every day for my 20s and most of my 30s.
Yeah.
And that sounds miserable considering that I got no weight loss whatsoever.
Right? Yeah. That was me like at 20. I worked out so much more in my 20th year of life than I do now in my 23rd year of life. And I look better now. And I'm still active and I still exercise. But I do not like grind myself to the ground for 2 hours every day because I don't have to.
Mm-hmm. There's actually been quite a few studies looking at people that, especially cardio. So the classic thing that you see is the person who, okay, I'm going to lose weight, and they go to the gym, and they feel intimidated by all of the non-cardio machines. So they go straight to the cardio machines. Elliptical. That's easy. It's a no-brainer. You set the dial and you just swing your legs back and forth and you work up a sweat. And then that thing tells you how many calories you burn because you type in the fact that you're a female and this height and this weight and okay. First of all, the studies have shown that the elliptical specifically, I believe, is 44% off. So yeah. And so what happens is that cardio increases your appetite. And so what happens is these people will start working out, they'll start exercising, and their appetite increases, and they think they're burning more calories than they are. And then they end up overeating. And that's why you see so many people at the gym that are doing the same thing, that aren't changing their body at all. So the first thing that exercise can't do is help you lose weight. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side of that, what it can do is it can shape your body. Mm-hmm. Now, one study that they did, maybe was it Kansas State? It was somewhere in the Midwest. They took a group of college females and they split them in half. And one group did body weight Tabata style exercise, and they did it for 4 minutes a day. Okay. And then they took another group, the other group of similar females, college females, and they just did straight cardio for, it was either 30 or 40 minutes every day. And they looked at them for 6 months, and they all had the same amount of weight loss, but the difference was the change in body composition of the 4-minute Tabata people changed their core strength, their upper body strength, their overall strength with less time. And so I think that that's one thing that people underestimate when they do exercise. They think more is better, more is better. Yeah. And one thing that I want people to recognize is that just like anything in life, there is definitely too much of a good thing. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of the stories of the late 30-year-olds who dropped dead on last mile of a marathon? Like this happens all the time. The stereotypical person that drops dead from a heart attack is a white male that is 39 years old in the last few miles of a marathon.
Oh my gosh. I believe it, but I have never heard that. That's crazy.
And I'm not telling, I can only imagine the marathon runners are like, oh, how dare her? Is she telling us not to run marathons? I've run 50,000 and I am healthy as a horse. Okay. But yeah, true. But the fact is that there is definitely the human body was not meant to stress itself out that way for hours every day, because when you do that, it jacks with everything. So one, you think that you're working hard and working, putting double time in the gym and you're killing it, and most of the time you're doing it because you want to lose weight, right? Yeah. Not only is it not going to help you lose weight, but it's going to jack with your hormones. Yeah. And that's one thing that I did want to address was the hormone imbalance. So exercise can do good things for your hormones, but it can also do bad things for your hormones. Okay. Now, so you're the non-medical person. You represent the masses that have no medical training. I mean, you were a dental assistant, so you are familiar with the medical world. CPR. There you go. Hey, that counts for something. That counts for something. But the fact is, you represent the layperson who, when they're hearing a medical person talk, you're like, okay, wait. So tell me your understanding of hormones and how they're positively and negatively affected by exercise.
Well, when I think about it, I think about the hunger hormone and I think about adrenaline. Like those are the two things that I think about when it comes to exercise and stuff like that, because people are like, oh, you got to get your adrenaline pumping and for exercise. And I also think of the hunger hormone because like you were saying, cardio makes you hungry. So those are the two things that I think of when you say hormones and exercise. Okay,
you're going in the right direction. In fact, it affects all of your hormones, all of the major hormones that we talk about, because and I think it might have been Melissa who said this, and it's a great concept. If we can get people to change their view of their health, and instead of saying, okay, I need to lose weight, so I need to cut calories and exercise more and eat low fat or whatever, the common things that we've seen from people that want to lose weight for the last few decades, many decades actually, if we can get them to change their mentality and look at themselves as, okay, I've got hormonal imbalance, and how do I get my hormones back to balanced? Yeah. Because the fact is that when we exercise too much, we affect all of our hormones in a negative way. And that can look like a slowed down metabolism. Our thyroid hormone is typically the hormone that a lot of people think about when the hormone of metabolism. The hormones that affect our sleep, the hormones that are sex hormones. Too much there. I read one article that a common problem in marathon runners are extreme athletes, so triathletes and endurance athletes, having such low testosterone that they have problems with fertility. This is males that exercise too much, that their sex hormones are basically equivalent to that of a teenage girl. because females, we make testosterone too, but obviously not as much as males, right? And that's why one point that we'll make in this podcast is females' fear of weightlifting. And we'll get into that as well. But a common misbelief is that I don't want to be bulky and look like those women on the bodybuilding competitions. And the fact is that those women use steroids. And if you are not using exogenous steroids, so exogenous means you put into your body, whether it be by injection or pill or whatnot. Endogenous is your own hormones that your own body uses and manufactures and makes. So I
said, good to know.
Okay. Yeah. You'll be hearing these terms a lot. You guys are going to essentially have a medical degree after listening to all of these podcasts. I'm telling you. Right. So as long as you are not taking exogenous hormones, you as a female will never have enough testosterone to build muscle to look like a man. But if you take exogenous hormones, that's a whole nother topic. And we might do a podcast on that topic as well. But the fact is that when you exercise too much, you make this imbalance of your hormones, of everything from the adrenaline hormone, cortisol, your thyroid, your growth hormone, your sex hormones, your pretty much this whole imbalance just goes like this, and it goes completely out of whack when you, and this is off like on the counterpart for females. This is why you see women that overexercise will oftentimes, have irregular periods or stop their period completely because their sex hormones are totally jacked. And that's definitely a medical term, totally jacked.
I still think of a big ripped guy when you say that. You say jacked, and I think of like a big jacked guy.
Yeah. But on the counterpart, exercise when done properly and when done at the same time, or not at the same time, but at proper times, can actually help your hormones. And one common thing that I see is, so sleep. When we are not taking our sleep serious, that is a great way. And we'll have a whole episode about sleep and all of the ways it affects. But hormones, if you aren't taking your sleep serious, you are jacking with your hormones. There it is again. I got to stop saying that, right? Jacking with your hormones.
No, I know. It's fine. We have all these terms that we have coined now.
Yes.
Hormones do.
Right? And they'll all probably be on a t-shirt at some point in time.
We'll have a Urban Dictionary that is Fitz and Healthy edition.
I have to use Urban Dictionary more than others, I think.
Really?
In fact, a funny side note. So my girl Rachel, she dog sat for me while I was in Dominican Republic last week, and she's about your age, and she took my class in Oklahoma, and there was one particular song that I did choreography to, and once I turned it on and I showed him the song, I'm done. I'm like, what'd you think? And, because that's what I always do before class. I show them new choreography, right? And I turn on, she's got this huge grin on her face. And she goes, you don't know what that song means, do you? I'm like, no. And she goes, you should have Urban Dictionary. And so I'm just going to put it out there for you guys to just Urban Dictionary truffle butter. I did not know the definition of truffle.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a great song.
I been there to see that.
I was like, oh, hail. So because I love urban music and hip hop and rap, I have to use the Urban Dictionary more than the average person.
Awesome. So funny.
So back to talking about exercise. So, that is another good point that I wanted to make. so there's so many great benefits to exercise. And obviously I'm sure people are like, wait, is the point of this podcast to tell me not to exercise? No, absolutely not.
Let us finish.
Yes, exactly. But I wanted to make sure that I got all of the important misconceptions of why exercise isn't good. Yeah. But there are so many great benefits to exercise that that are reasons why I believe that exercise needs to be an important part of your day on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of type A people out there. I'm right there, who think, well, if this is good, then more is better. And, the first part of this talk was to those people specifically, because just because you find even Club Fitz, I mean, I love dancing and I go hard for an hour, but if I'm doing that 4 or 5 times a week, that's not good. It's because I don't mess around. You're going to burn crazy calories, and I take pride in the fact that people are usually sore the next day after my class. And Robert, our producer, can nod his head and agree, because he used to be a regular. And I mean, you've taken my class, not officially taken my class, on a cruise boat.
I got to get my butt kicked by you for
right.
I know what you're talking about. I can only imagine a full class. So
yeah, I think a lot of people, before they take my class, they underestimate what kind of workout it's going to be. They're just like, it's
love crushing that myth.
I do. There is nothing that makes me happier than after master class, people messaging me like, oh my gosh, what happened to me? I can't walk today. I'm like, that's called a fitness class, yo.
Welcome.
Exactly. Because, I don't want to waste their time. But the fact is that when I was in Oklahoma, I was teaching 4 days a week, and that's still too much on my body. And you have to change it up. Cardio. So we're going to talk about the different kinds of exercise too. But there are a lot of people that are followers and fans of mine online are in the dance fitness world. Obviously the most common one, the household name that a lot of people know is Zumba, but there's other different formats of dance fitness. And if you're in the dance fitness world, you've probably seen one or many of my videos on YouTube, and that's probably how you found me, right? But for those people that are listening to the podcast that are like, I don't know who the heck you are, girl, but you need to go to my YouTube channel, because it's really awesome, and there's some great booty shaking and booty shaking to have fun for exercise. Not to watch. I mean, I'm sure there's some weirdos that just, but it's meant to give you guys a fun workout. And so I've been teaching this, it's basically a hip hop fitness class. I call it Club Fitz, because you feel like you're at the club, but you're getting fit at the same time. And so that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about, was the community that comes along with exercise.
Yes.
And man, community is so important. If you struggle with your health and fitness journey, a community is typically the missing link.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be in person. I mean, I've been a part of all different kinds of fitness communities, and the ones that I have online are just as special as the ones that I have in person that I go and teach a class to every single week.
Yeah,
but the community that exercise brings, whether you're a runner, I'm not a runner. Anyone that has followed me knows I hate to run. I've tried to become a runner like 3 or 4 times in my life, and I'm like, this blows.
If you see me running, you should be running too.
Amen. But the runners out there have their running clubs and their half marathons or their 5Ks, and that community is awesome. I love to see the running community in group fitness. I mean, especially dance fitness. Like, a majority of my class has typically been women, but I have anywhere between 5 to 10% men that take my class. And it's those people's time that they have for themselves, especially the parents that just need alone time away from their kids. That community that group exercise brings, it's amazing. Absolutely. And then of course, the beauty of at-home workouts, but still having a community.
Yeah. Because like you mentioned earlier, so many people go to a gym and they just go to the treadmill because they don't know how to use the rest of the equipment. And nobody wants to go up to the machine and read the description on it.
Yep.
Like, come on, let's be real.
Yep.
So being able to work out at home in my pajamas, because literally I work out in my pajamas more often than I want to admit.
Yep.
I'm at home and nobody's around. Nobody can judge me if I'm doing it wrong or if I'm a little bit slower or if I'm using the modification. So it's nice to just have like the privacy to not feel like you have an expectation that you have to meet while you're exercising. So you can be completely undistracted and just enjoy it and just have it as your time. But it's nice, like you said, to be able to have an online community that you plug into and you can share a sweaty selfie saying, I got that workout in today in my pajamas in my living room and I killed it.
Yes. And so no matter if you're a yogi, a runner, involved with something like Beachbody, dance fitness, I definitely highly recommend exercise for the community aspect. Oh, and CrossFit. CrossFit has got such a great community. I mean, it's, I remember when I was in Japan, this dude named Daniel, he brought CrossFit to Japan, and he actually went and won all of the Asian CrossFit regional whatever that they do, because they compete, but their community is just so amazing. So exercise, it's the community alone. And then that leads me to my next point, and this is one of the first points that you brought out of good points for exercise, was how much it can change your mood and your mentation.
Yeah.
I mean, can I tell you how many people I wish would just try getting exercise on a regular basis to wean off of all of those terrible drugs that have awful side effects that people get addicted to, and then they think that they have to be on them for life.
Yeah. I don't have my pills, so I feel horrible today.
It's a crutch that big pharmaceutical companies want everyone to believe that, let me just say, there are some people that truly, no matter their nutrition, their exercise, anything like that, will need to be on some sort of psychiatric medicine the rest of their life.
And thankfully that is available to them.
Absolutely.
But I always say only work out on the days that you want to be happy. Because for me, we talked about this in our episode about depression, is that was my release. That was my substitute for antidepressants.
Yep.
So I say only work out on the days you want to be happy, because seriously, it's such a huge, like we were talking about, just time for yourself. And it's just a stress reliever. You can just take whatever it is that you're dealing with in whatever season of life you are in and let it all out in a workout in a constructive way.
Well, and part of that is because of the reaction of your hormones to exercise.
Yeah.
I mean, it truly helps your mental status better than any drug, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I that's one of the first things that when I was practicing medicine, one of the first things when I would see a patient that was on some sort of antidepressant or multiple different antidepressant medicines would, talk to them about exercise. And it's counterintuitive to a lot of people that, wait, I'm sad about life, so you want me to exercise? But the moment
punishment, but it's seriously, it's like it's church for your mind. Seriously.
Yeah. And then also, this kind of goes in the same category, but it helps your confidence.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Whether you're maybe you're a scrawny female that all of a sudden, like, you're introduced to exercise for the first time, and now you're feeling like empowered, to the dude that, maybe he wasn't the athlete growing up, but this is something that pretty much it just takes you putting time and effort into it, and you can excel in it. I mean, exercise gives confidence in so many different ways.
Especially because you feel accomplished. Like when you do something for you, like exercise or eating a good meal, you feel so accomplished. And because of that, you have a little more pep in your step. You carry yourself a little more differently because you feel better about yourself, because you feel more accomplished. You feel empowered.
Exactly. And I mean, like that meme that says no one ever regretted a workout, unless you injure yourself.
Well, yeah. There's
my knee. Yeah.
Disclaimer.
A little disclaimer, and that is one thing that we forgot to mention about negative things that come along with exercise is injury. And for someone like me, I have been in dance my entire life. So I learned body and mechanics and the way the body moves very early, before I even knew that that's what I was learning. And there's some other people, like Robert has a history of martial arts, and they learn how to use the body and the mechanics of the body so well. But for the person who wasn't an athlete and is an adult that has found themselves victim to the standard American diet and has put on, an extra 10 pounds every decade, that wants to lose weight, they go to the gym, and either they're scared about using the non-cardio machines and they just do cardio, and we already know that that's not going to help them lose weight, or they do the machines or other exercises they've seen on maybe YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and then they go hurt themselves.
Yeah, form is very fierce.
Yes. So I highly recommend, if you are new to exercise, just invest in yourself and hire a trainer for a session or two. That doesn't mean that you have to go and spend hundreds of dollars every week, but a good trainer that's reputable, that knows what they're doing. Man, injury is not cool. And I mean, for listeners who don't know my history, so it's May 1st, 2017 right now. In December of 2015, so almost a year and a half ago, I totally blew out my right knee while teaching. And I fell off a stage. Yep, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I fell off the stage they made. Yeah, I stepped on the edge of it because the place that I was teaching, they built this tiny, tiny stage because they were trying to save money. And it was crazy because I felt like it's probably not safe for me to dance on it, but I felt like I had to because they spent time and money on it. And this is just a great example of you got to listen to your gut, because my gut, I knew that it wasn't safe to dance on that stage. And it was like, it was someone's birthday playlist. It was second to last song. And I literally, half of my foot is on the stage and half of it's off, but more of it was off. And my leg was trying to keep me up, and it laterally popped. And I mean, I knew the first words that came out of my mouth when I hit the ground was, I just blew out my ACL. And it was a complete tear, had meniscal tear as well, and major surgery a week later. And I was on crutches for almost 2 months. And it's terrible. I hope at 37, I hope I never have to have surgery again ever the rest of my life. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I have good nutrition and proper exercise that doesn't lead to stress injuries, and proper form and whatnot, so that I don't ever have to have surgery. I'm not a fan, especially being from the OR.
Another reason why exercising at home is awesome is because you can take your time. You're not rushed. You can work on your form. You can take it slow. You can pause if you're doing a home workout. You can pause it if you're streaming it and work on your form.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Another great thing, and if you're a parent and you have little ears around, you might want, I'm not going to cuss, but I'm going to talk about something that they might not want to hear about. But exercise is a great libido helper, just saying. I mean, it's one of those things that people underestimate how important your libido is and all of the things that can affect it. So your libido, if you are having problems with your libido, I would highly recommend you start an exercise program. and start working on those sex hormones, you know? And I totally forgot to say earlier, but after compulsively listening to all of 10 episodes, I say amen way too much.
Like I said, we have some things that just happen, and
I know.
I didn't notice until I binge listened to all of them today, and I was like, wow.
Yes. Binge listen. That's the word I was looking for. Binge listen. That's what I've done. I've binge listened. So
I'm glad you binge listened too, that I wasn't like alone and just a loser because
no.
10 episodes.
No. Well, I had to binge listen to them to get the show notes, and I'm sure there's still things that I've missed. And our listeners, it's cool because I don't even remember. Robert told me how many downloads we already have just on day one. It's like crazy awesome.
Well,
I think we already have like 25 reviews, which we have 4,000 downloads. No way. Oh my gosh,
oh my
goodness. So for the average podcast listener, you have no idea, but that's really awesome. And the fact that we have already, just on day one, we have over 25 reviews, because the way in which iTunes makes it, they don't make it easy to leave a review for a podcast. Mm-hmm. And so, but if a person leaves a review, subscribes, downloads all of the episodes, and leaves a review, that helps us grow this podcast the most. Yeah. And ultimately, I don't know if people realize, but you don't make money from podcasts. So this podcast is for the people, so that we can help change the health of our country, of our world, because it is an epidemic that it's gonna, this is the first generation that our kids are not supposed to outlive their parents. Yeah. How jacked is that? And the only way that we are going to change that is one person at a time, and giving knowledge that is this potential power. Yeah. And so I'm super stoked.
The message is so heavy on Lauren and I's hearts both. And that's
Absolutely.
The whole purpose of this podcast. So when you guys do review or subscribe or download an episode, it's not just for you, but it's for the next person that makes it so that podcast will reach more people.
Absolutely.
The more interactive we are on with reviews and stuff like that, the more people that we can reach that can also hear this message and appreciate it. So it's not just for you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying what you do is also a compound effect and helps. So thank you guys for that, by the way.
Yeah. No,
Lauren and Robert have all been like I feel like a firefly all day, just like,
oh yeah,
super stoked.
Oh yeah. No, I've been a giddy schoolgirl all day. I took Rachel to the airport this morning, and she was like, "You're totally vibing today." And I'm like, "Is that good?" Again.
She that, right?
Yeah. But like, I don't know if you can see, for people that are listening to the podcast, they won't be able to see, but I got these flowers and these balloons that say congrats delivered to me today. Look how beautiful they are.
So sweet.
I know. That was from Tammy and John. They're like probably some of the biggest Club Fitz fans around, and I just no, exactly, and I feel so blessed that we have this platform to be able to get the word out to people, so that they can ultimately be empowered to take control of life and to live the life by design that we talk about all the time. And some of these episodes are going to be really specific. For example, one episode that I want to do in the near future is just about the thyroid. And so that particular episode, it might get a little brainiac and a little, geeked out. But then there's going to be episodes like this that, I'll give you a little bit of science and state some research, but at the end of the day, I want people to walk away with, okay, so I learned that exercise is not going to help me lose weight. So what can help me lose weight? Obviously, we're going to be talking a ton about nutrition, and the fact, like you said, you can't out exercise a bad diet.
Gosh, you cannot. You can't. If you could, I would not have a job.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I want people to just get in their head, because if you are going to put effort and a focused energy into losing weight, you have two options. If you only had two options, I would highly recommend you focus on nutrition first before exercise. Now, obviously, I believe that for you to be on the health and fitness bandwagon, learn it as a healthy lifestyle, both need to be incorporated. But so often people choose the exercise first because it's easier.
And then they get burnt out.
Or injured.
Yeah. Because they think that, well, this isn't working after 2 weeks of exercising super mega hard. It's not working. Well, if we could give you a step-by-step, please take take exercise out of the equation and just focus on what you're putting into your body first. And then once you have that figured out, focus on moving your body in addition to what you're putting into it.
Yes. And, for the person that's, got a significant amount of weight to lose, I highly recommend you, finding someone who has a good reputation and knows what they're talking about when it comes to nutrition. That could be a coach like you and I are, or that could be a friend that obviously knows what they're doing, because you look at their life, their body, their lifestyle. The thing that kills me, like, for instance, you go to a doctor and the doctor is 50 pounds, 75 pounds overweight, and they're the ones that are giving you advice on, well, you need to lose weight to help your diabetes and your hypertension. And it's like, okay, you want guidance from someone who obviously knows what they're doing. And
they preach.
Yes. And do it in a loving manner, because let's just be honest, this topic is really sensitive.
It's a vulnerable process. Changing your lifestyle and your mindset and how you view yourself and care for yourself, that's a very vulnerable process. That's a lot of moving parts. So that's something that I always tell my clients, thank you, as just a thank you for letting me be a part of that process, because it's such a personal thing to trust someone else with. So make sure the person that you are sharing this process with is somebody that cares, that genuinely cares and has your best interest.
Dude, that gave me chills. Like, literally, I don't know if you can see the chills, but I've got hairy arms. So, but no, truly. And, like we were talking about pre-show, every Monday, my customers send me pictures, and that is such a vulnerable state, because you are trusting me with, these pictures that a lot of these people won't even let their spouses see.
It's you at your most raw, vulnerable, unfiltered state.
And it's something that, but the fact is, the community that you need for support is real, and you need to find a loving, supportive community to help you learn how to make it a lifestyle, because there's no quick fix. We are here to tell you there is no quick fix, and it is not easy. It's not easy to make right decisions on your nutrition, what you're eating, what you're drinking every day. It's not. I'm not gonna try and sugarcoat it. Well, don't eat sugar because it's bad. But
I'm gonna try to coat it in fat. But.
Yeah, exactly. Grass-fed ghee, please. No, but the fact is that I want people specifically to walk away from this episode feeling empowered. Obviously, I want people to walk away from every episode that they listen to feeling empowered in some way. But knowing that, okay, exercise is not going to be the thing that you think it is, but it's going to be really great. And it's going to have all of these other benefits that come along with this health and fitness journey.
It's not the first step. The first step is nutrition. It's the second step. And that people have that backwards, and that's why they feel like they fail, and that no matter what I do, I'm not losing weight.
Right.
Well, if you take a test before you've studied, you'll probably fail the test, right?
Right.
You have to take care of the inside first and your nutrition first, and then exercise. And the thing is, it's a domino effect. When you start to eat good, you feel better, and when you feel better, you were like, you know what? I can do that workout. I do want to go do that. I do want to go run around and play with the kid, you know? So.
Yeah, no, one of my favorite things about coaching is when people have the realization, like, I'm not getting those afternoon like lulls, and I'm not getting these crazy mood swings, and I have like this energy that I haven't had since I was a teenager. And it's like, yeah, guess what? All of the crap food that you've been eating your whole adult life, what you thought was normal, that's actually not normal. Yes. When you feed your body, when you feed your body Frankenfoods, you're gonna I mean, truly, I wish I could say I coined that phrase, but I did not coin that phrase. I don't know who did, but they're genius, but I'm going to use it. But it's true. But when you eat Frankenfoods, you're going to act like Frankenstein, and you're going to have mental disorders. You're going to have mood swings. You're going to have energy dips. You're going to have problems in sleep. You're going to have problems with libido. You're going to have problems with like your body, just like you said on, I don't remember which episode, but quoting, I know, right? I know, quoting Mick, which I'm sure we'll have this quote multiple times, but you don't feed a luxury car crap gas because it's not going to run the way it's supposed to. And our bodies are so much more valuable than luxury cars. Yeah. I mean, man, being back, so being in the Dominican Republic last week, that's third world country. And I love travel for that reason, because it just gives you a dose of reality. Like your worst day is nothing compared to the really just super impoverished people that are in these countries that you visit. And after being there, we went off the resort a little bit. And so I got to, get a close look at the poverty. And Dominican Republic, for those that are geographically challenged, Dominican Republic shares an island with Haiti, and Haiti is that much worse. Our tour guide that we did a catamaran thing, and our tour guide was talking about the fact that Haitian workers will come over and they'll get paid, 3 times what they would in Haiti, for a job for a season, and they won't want to go back because they've not only made so much more money, but they realize like how dire their conditions are in Haiti. And it's just not the point of this podcast, but if you can travel to a third world country, man. But I get back to Newport Beach, and I've seen no less than 10 Bentleys and 5 Rolls Royces and all of those crazy cars that cost more money than these people will ever see in an entire lifetime. And it's that's what made me think of it, is that our bodies are worth so much more than all of those luxury cars that I've seen back home now. Then,
like I said in an episode before, don't know which one. Y'all, the first 10 episodes are a blur. Like when we launched today and we had 10 episodes, I looked at some of them and I was like, wait, when did we record that? Like, it's such a crazy ride. So an amazing ride, but just like crazy. Yeah. But I had said how literally if you don't take care of your body, you don't have much to live for, because you won't be alive. So exactly. None of the other material things, what you put on it, what you put around it, are gonna matter if you don't take care of your body.
Yep. So to wrap things up, some important things that exercise, the negative things that exercise contributes. It won't help you lose weight. It can cause injury if done with improper form, or done too much. Yes. It can jack with your hormones if you do too much of it. It can hurt your sleep if you're exercising late at night. Just expect you're going to have sleep issues, because you've just revved up all of your hormones, and you've basically told your body like, hey, I'm going to be awake. And so exercise at the wrong time can hurt your sleep. Increased cardio is going to increase your appetite, and more times than not, people overestimate how much they have burnt doing cardio. And so more times than not, their increased appetite will lead to ingesting way more food. And it's usually not the good kind of food that helps your body and fuels it the way it's supposed to. Yeah. But
when you talked about that earlier, because that literally, that was me. That was me.
Oh.
I go work out and I was like, oh, I'm bored. Like I've burned 50 calories. I'm going to go home and eat a plate of pasta because it's going to level out. Like, yeah, no, such a victim of that. I just have to, because it's, now that I know better, I feel like embarrassed for myself back then.
Well, but I mean,
but you have to learn from it and let it go. But
well, and we're doing what we have been told to do by everyone from the fitness industry to doctors to our government. Like, we're doing what we thought was right, and no one took the time to step back and look around and be like, okay, so if this is right, then why is everyone overweight, diabetic, and battling all of these disease processes that we didn't have before we started this cycle, you know? But exercise does bring so much goodness. And I forgot one of my favorite points, and this is a little bit biased for dance fitness, but one of the positive things that specifically dance fitness does is that it helps you connect to your inner Onse. And Robert, our producer, shaking his head right now. I love it. But it is true because, right? No, it's true because that inner sexual diva, that inner sexual being that we have inside of us all. And yeah, I mean, it's biology. If we didn't have it, we wouldn't procreate and our species wouldn't survive. It is okay. And, you know, our culture, our society has suppressed it so much. And man, dance fitness, I'm telling you, it can connect you to that, you know, and just exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's anytime that I do master classes, like not last weekend, but 2 weekends ago, I was in Ohio and I did a Columbus Friday night and Cincinnati Saturday night. And I always talk about anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes before I start my master class. And that's one of the things I always let them know. I'm like, look, that person, when no one else is at home and you're in front of the mirror and you're getting ready and your song comes on and you're like, oh, this is my jam. And you go there because no one's watching. That's who I want to see tonight, because this is a judge-free zone and no one is judging you. And I want you to go there. And that's what exercise can do. And yes, did I make them sore and probably hate me the next day? Yes. But during that moment, I help them have confidence, some connection with their inner sexual being. They have community. It helped their mood. One of my favorite things is when I have a class peep come to me and be like, man, before I got here, I was having the worst day and you totally just changed my day around. Yeah. Like that's everything. Yeah. So exercise, there's so much that it can and can't do for you. Obviously, we highly recommend it. And you know, on a different episode, we will actually talk about different kinds of exercise and for example, HIIT workouts. You know, depending on the level of knowledge of the listener, you know, some listeners out there might be like, oh, this is old news. But then there's a lot of people, especially in the dance fitness world, that they've just been doing cardio. They're cardio queens and they're at a plateau. And I'm here to tell you, you got to change things up. And we'll talk about that on a future podcast episode.
It's definitely not the last that you will hear of exercise from us.
No. And you know, I always try and keep in mind that not all of the people that listen are dance fitness people, but I'm a fan. I'm just like, so, okay. We appreciate on this special day of May 1st. We appreciate every single person who has already downloaded all 10 episodes.
1,000 downloads. I'm still like,
I know it's pretty exciting for first day. And if this happens to be your first episode that you've listened to, we would love to hear from you and hear what your thoughts are. We appreciate when you go to iTunes or whatever platform you listen to this on, subscribe and download all of the episodes, because that does help us in the rankings and gets the word out on the street. But most importantly, I would love to hear a review. We read every single review, and ultimately this show is for you. And so tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you want to hear. And we appreciate every single person who gave us your time. We don't take that for granted. Yeah. And Cinthanie, what do you want to tell them?
You are a good person and you deserve good things to happen to you.
Amen. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Fitz and Healthy podcast. We will see you next episode. Ciao. Make sure that you find us on social media. You can find Cinthanie on Instagram and Facebook at Cinthanie. So that's CINTHANIE, and on Snapchat at Cinthanie P. And find me on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at Club Fitz Fitness. Remember, that's FITZ Fitness. And on Snapchat, just at Club Fitz. I appreciate your time listening so much. If you enjoyed this episode of the Fitz and Healthy podcast, can you please go do me a favor and go subscribe at whatever platform that it is that you listen to podcasts. Leave a review. We read every single review, and we appreciate the time that you take to leave your thoughts and opinions. Now, also remember, while I am a medical doctor, the information I provide here is not intended to provide medical advice or a professional diagnosis, opinion, treatment, or services to you or to any other individual. I am providing general information for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not a substitute for medical or professional care. You should not use this information in place of a visit, call, consultation, or the advice of your physician or other healthcare provider. The information I share is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose any disease or medical condition. If you believe you have a medical emergency, just call 911 immediately or your physician. Now, enough of that medical legal jargon. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I appreciate your time. Now, go live a Fitz and Healthy life.